When the Nigerian Super Eagles descended into Uyo, the city of promise, a wave of anticipation swept across Akwa Ibom. The players disembarked one by one, each step symbolizing the weight of responsibility they bore. They weren't just footballers, they were symbols of resilience for over 200 million Nigerians scattered across the globe. The crowd that had gathered at the airport was not simply there to see familiar faces. They came to draw inspiration. Children waved little flags, mothers lifted babies in green wrappers as if to bless them with the aura of the Eagles. There was no doubt the nation was watching. Victor Osimhen, with his trademark blonde streak, received thunderous applause. William Troost-Ekong walked with the composure of a leader who knew the mountain that lay ahead. Behind them, youngsters like Toluera Kodere brimmed with energy, hungry for their chance to write history. The mission was clear. A World Cup dream was at stake. Before boots touched the grass, words carved the path. Inside a packed press room in Uyo, flash bulbs exploded as microphones lined the table. Head coach Eric Shelley, measured and firm, sat at the center. His voice was calm but carried the thunder of intent. We are not here to underestimate Rwanda. Every team fights for their dream. But we are Nigeria, and we must show that we belong on the biggest stage. The journey to the World Cup begins here. Beside him, Captain William Troost-Ekong straightened in his seat. His tone was less tactical, more spiritual. This jersey is not cloth. It is blood, history, and sacrifice. When we step onto that pitch, we carry every Nigerian heart with us. We fight, we win, together. The room fell silent for a moment, not out of fear, but respect. Words had ignited something greater, belief. 3. Training sweat before glory. The training sessions at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium became more than drills, they became rituals of unity. Under the blistering Uyo sun, the Eagles sharpened their wings. Victor Osimhen, ever the talisman, was the loudest voice, pushing teammates, demanding intensity. Wilfred Ndidi anchored the midfield drills, barking instructions with calm authority. The young blood Toluera Kodere ran like a man who understood destiny was calling. Fans who sneaked glimpses of training saw more than cones and sprints. They saw laughter, brotherhood, and a collective will to rise. They saw Nwabali making impossible saves, Osei Samuel flying down the flanks, and Ekong marshalling every man like a general before battle. By the end of training, sweat dripped, lungs burned, but faith was reborn. The 6th of September, Uyo. The stadium roared long before kickoff. The Nigerian anthem rolled across the night sky, every voice trembling with emotion. Green and white flags waved like restless oceans. Across from them, the Rwandan team stood tall, undaunted, disciplined, ready for their own history. From the first whistle, the game was fierce. Rwanda refused to bow, pressing hard, cutting off supply lines. Every Nigerian pass met resistance, every shot blocked. Midway through the half, hearts shattered. Victor Osimhen, the star striker, limped off after a collision. Silence swept through the stands. Could Nigeria stand tall without their lion? The team answered with grit. Ndidi tightened the midfield, Ekong barked orders, and Nwabali pulled off saves that drew roars of relief. At halftime, the scoreboard read 0-0, but the spirit of the game burned hotter than ever. The second half began with urgency. Nigeria needed a hero, and fate delivered. In the 50th minute, a cross sailed into the Rwanda box. Rising like a man possessed, Toluera Kodere unleashed a strike, powerful, precise, unstoppable. Goal. The stadium erupted. Tears, screams, chants. Uyo shook to its foundation. It wasn't just a goal, it was a declaration. The Eagles will not fall. From then on, it was war. Rwanda pressed with fury, but the Eagles stood like iron. Nwabali's gloves became walls, Ajayi and Ekong cleared with hearts of steel. Every block, every tackle, was a prayer answered. When the final whistle blew, the scoreboard read: Nigeria 1-0 Rwanda. Victory. Players collapsed to the ground, some in exhaustion, some in prayer. Eric Kodere, the unlikely hero, raised his arms to the heavens. Ekong gathered the team into a circle, voices rising in unity. The fans sang deep into the night. For a moment, Nigeria forgot its worries. For a moment, hope lived in green and white. But beyond celebration, reality remained. Osimhen's injury meant the road ahead was dangerous. Yet, the victory proved something larger. The Super Eagles are more than one man. They are a family, a spirit, a nation. When the team finally departed Huyo, the city stood still to wave them off. Buses rolled past streets lined with fans, horns blaring, drums beating. The players carried more than luggage. They carried belief. They carried the dreams of a nation marching toward the 2026 World Cup. And though challenges loom, one truth rang clear: the Super Eagles will never stop flying. The Nigeria vs Rwanda clash in Uyo was more than a football match. It was a parable of life, of resilience in the face of setbacks, of unity in diversity, of courage when all seems lost. From the moment they arrived, to the words spoken at the press briefing, to the sweat poured in training, to the single goal that lit up the stadium, and finally to their departure, this was a journey of hope. The Super Eagles reminded us all: no matter the storm, the Nigerian spirit will always rise, wings unbroken.